Ahoy, everyone! That's my silly pirate greeting. Welcome back to Let's Remember Skies of Arcadia. I don't even remember what part this is. All I remember is that last time we went into Valua, fought a bunch of people, saved Fina and Dine and the rest of the Blue Rogues, and it was super cool. And now we're about to start off on our adventure to help Fina find all of the moon crystals so that we can stop Valua from controlling the monstrous power of all the Gigas. Or Gigas. Gigas. I'm going to say Gigas from now on. And we're going to finally get to explore the world in a lot of different ways. As a heads up, there's going to be some, and by some I mean a fair amount of transitions during this segment. I should have gone ahead and, well, I can't go ahead because I'd be skipping story stuff. But there's some exploration here, so like, we're going to find stuff on the ground now called chams. Chams are really cool. They're little bits of moon crystals that Cupel, Fina's weapon, most adorable thing ever, eats in order to level up. Fina's weapon doesn't, you don't buy upgrades to it. You find upgrades around the world that you feed to Cupel. And usually the controller would vibrate and Cupel would be all excited inside the video screen of your VMU. But in this case, I don't have that right now because I'm using a different controller. So I just have to walk around and try and remember where they all are. So it's right near the crane. But in the process, it means that I'm accidentally inspecting the crane. There we go. It's like right past the crane. And then what we do is we just find the item. I always forget where they're kept. Where's the cham kept? Oh no. Where do we keep our chams? Oh, they're kept just like consumables. Okay, cool. And then we feed it to Cupel. Cupel won't upgrade yet, but Cupel will eventually upgrade. So there are going to be moments where I'm going to return to locations that we've already been to. A prominent one being Shrine Island, where I'm just going to do our fancy transition things, because I don't think you all want to see me going through Shrine Island an entire time just to get to the bottom to pick up one cham and then follow me as I go all the way up again. This will have the added benefit of getting Fina at a level that's commensurate with everybody else, because Fina, and this is great now that we have a ship and we have a full party, Fina starts at level 1. Fina is sort of a support character more than an attack character, but getting Cupel to a place where I can have Cupel a little stronger will be nice. And I also want to go around and do some exploring to find discoveries in the world. Those I'll try and show, but when it comes time to go to re-explored locations for now to pick up chams, I will just sort of transition. So we can get to the action kind of faster. So we're about to leave Pirate Isle. This is really nice. I like the fact that Vise's parents are here. Obviously, they would be. Dine is this character I've always enjoyed because he's a reasonable patriarch. Like, we know that he's capable of being a killer. We saw him, when we were raiding the Valuan ship, just, like, casually shoot a dude in the head. But, there's this thing where he acknowledges, Vise, you're my equal now. You live by the skies. There's nothing more honorable than that. He's saying, go out, be yourself. And there's something really great about that. And Vise's mother is here too. Again, my only lament being that she's defined as Vise's mother and not sort of a character independent of her own. She's sort of attached to Vise. And that's how we identify her. But there's this nice feeling of, Pirate Isle is this home that we like. We went to great lengths to rescue the people there, and now we have to leave. And it's nice to have a central point that anchors us to the rest of the world, a sort of place where we started our journey from, because the rest of the game is going to bring us all around the world. It's really great. And it's more than just leaving the hometown, too. This is like our one sort of sure place in the world. Because otherwise we're going to nations and exploring places that other people haven't even explored. It will get to that point. It's really great. And here, Vise affirms that, he wants to help because, it's the right thing. We want to stop Valua from getting the moon crystals, but also he's honest about his intentions. He's like, I want to see the world. And he says it here, moon crystals, lost cities, strange lands. I want to see them. And it's very exciting and invigorating to have party members, or a party in general in a game that's also just really excited about being able to explore the world. And that comes with, this being an age of exploration story, but it's really nice to have characters that are just as enthusiastic about finding new places and seeing new things as the player is. Sometimes in RPGs, you're compelled to go places because a malevolent force is chasing you, or you're trying to catch up to the bad guy or something. There's always a drive in that sense. Here, one of the things that we have for a drive is just to explore the world. We're going to end up heading east. We're going to end up heading to Nasr. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more when we get there. This first section, like I said, is going to be a lot more casual. And Drachma's with us, which is really interesting, that he's sort of going along with this for now. The music is swelling. Everything's great. I love everything about moments like this. I love Fina's just honest sense of courtesy. I love the fact that our characters want to explore the world. It's all really invigorating and just wonderful. And it's one of the reasons I love this game so much. And I hope that you will come to love it for those reasons as well. For the sense of sort of optimism that it brings. So we're going to need to go to Shrine Island, but before we do that, I want to check our map for a moment. So to the east of Shrine Island is sort of where I want to go, so I want to look over this way. I don't know if it's through here. Now our ship can go through stone reefs, by the way, because we have the harpoon cannon. I will be fighting some enemies throughout this playthrough, just so we can get Fina to where we want her to be in terms of level. Fina, as I said, is more of a support character, but Cupel can do a fair amount of damage, which is a nice sort of change of pace from what you might have in these games. We don't have any super moves for her yet, but she does have the ability to cure status effects and to potentially revive characters. But for now, we actually want to switch her to green magic so that she can become our primary healer. And it's really sort of hard. It's not hard, but you want to assign the crystals there. So there I'm trying to make sure that Drachma doesn't have green, but he has the blue. But the blue sort of looks like green, so pardon me on that. And I want to find some discoveries in the world just to kind of show them off. There's a couple that we can get before we get to our destination in Nasr, and having the extra money will help us out a fair amount as well. And also just that notion of exploration, it's really great. And the game sort of encourages it and incentivizes player exploration through a pretty simple means of, like making you explore, but it is what it is. Is it here? I don't remember where things are. When the compass goes crazy, that's when you know you're good. We're looking for a piece of sky coral, which sounds far more impressive than it actually is. But what I might do is I might zoom straight to Shrine Island, do our funny transition, and come back with a cham, and hopefully we'll upgrade Cupel. But for now, let's fight this fight, and sort of go from there. And if in the process of returning to Shrine Island we can find our wonderful discovery, that's good. And it's nice right now because we can keep the battle simple. I need to upgrade Aika's weapon because she's using her default weapon, while Vi's isn't, and even on a base damage level, I think Fina out-damages Aika, which is generally not the case, even with how powerful Cupel can become. I do like that as a sort of subversion. We've talked about it before very briefly, the fact that the character that will essentially be our white mage has a high accuracy, pretty fair damage primary weapon is really nice, because if I'm playing, I will always keep on going back to this as an example. If I'm playing FF7, I mean, I can slot Aerith with whatever magic that I want and kind of turn her into a force of her own. Yeah, I don't think it's here, so we want to head back this way, but we'll steal some fish. Nom nom nom. Where's Shrine Island then? Yep, so we'll go here. And so this will be a transition right here. Alright, we're totally done there. And so let's see what happens when we upgrade our weapon. Hopefully we'll get something cool here. A chamfer Cupel. And does it tell us now what form Cupel takes, or does it take a certain amount? I always forget. Yes, we now have the Cupel blade. Cupel has learned the ability to morph into an extremely sharp knife. Cupel's the coolest thing ever. And Fina's learning magic on the way, which is really wonderful. Now, I know where some discoveries are, because I have played this game, shocker, a couple times. So we want to go past here, I believe. It's sort of tricky. This is like the general vicinity of some of them, so we actually want to go over this way. But I think a little further than what we did before, so I think it's like this area. It's like this little rock down here, I think? No. But here's one of the cool things. I vaguely remember the layout of these areas, right? But I'm also rediscovering the game world alongside you and alongside the characters, which I think is this really great thing. So I like the discoveries in this game because not only do they stress that this is a living world with like a history and other stuff that's happening that your characters are finding, but you find them alongside your character and you share in sort of their sense of wonder, which I think is very cool. And we found a new weapon for Ica, by the way, if anybody is noticing things for continuity reasons. Although I doubt that's many of you. Oh, we didn't get to see Cupel Blade. Oh well, we'll get to see it soon. At the same time, we'll get to keep on leveling up Fina. But I want to show off some of these discoveries. And so this is I don't want to say this is a skippable episode. It certainly isn't. We'll get to some stuff, but at the same time, I sort of like this notion of just sort of exploring and all of this. So I know there's stuff around here. Yeah, so the thing just went crazy. Yeah, sky coral. I know that's here. Microorganisms called sky coral attach themselves to moonstone boulders. Blah blah blah, all that kind of fun stuff. And then there's something over here on the big thing here. Not, or is it this little one? I forget. I think it's here though. It's right near the edge of where like the sky rift is and where the rock rift starts. And I think it's like a silver moonstone deposit or something like that. We want to find these exploration items, or discoveries, rather, to give us a little bit of an edge later on. So actually, let's skip Ica fighting so we can see Cupel Blade. Oh, having a little bit of stuttering right there during combat. Doesn't happen too often. So we'll get to see Cupel Blade, but you can see Cupel, super cool. And actually does a fair amount of damage. 116 at level, what, like 7 or whatever Fina's at? That's not insignificant. So if you're finding Chams along the way, and you're keeping Fina's weapon upgraded, she's a strong enough combat character that she can contribute, even though you tend to use her as a healer and other things. Yeah, level 5. And we got an item out of that, which is even better. Like, that's a great battle right there. I swear it's here. Whoa. What did I do? Oh, that's right. You can do cool views with the camera. I forgot all about that. You can look all about your ship. Look at this. Wow. How cool is that? Oh, I love that. That's so wonderful. Oh no, battles. I know, battles. As I look for this thing that is really hard to find. Because I mean, there's a couple discoveries that I know the locations of, and then some of them are actually above or below the sky layer, but we can't navigate that yet, which is sort of a bummer. But let's get our characters some experience points. This is just... I wish I had some more insightful things to say, but sometimes this is the nature of an RPG, isn't it? I wish that Fina had sort of started off at a level that was equal to ours, but it doesn't really work like that, right? This is an example of sort of game mechanics sort of reinforcing what we know about a character. Fina's not somebody who's accustomed to combat, therefore why would she have a level higher than one? It makes no sense for that. So in that case, there's a sort of connection between the level that Fina has and then, you know, what we know about her as a character. It would be an entirely different story. I mean, you could do it in reverse too. You could all of a sudden, it could be that Fina's really strong and she was hiding it the whole time, and so she starts at like level 12 or whatever, but that doesn't, it's not really in connection with what we know. Yeah, so it's like right over here is an area that we can find stuff. I swear, I promise you. In fact, another magic fade. There we go. Silver Moon Pit. Look at that, finding just small deposits of silver moonstones. They hold the power of life. And we'll talk about it later on, which I say a lot about things, but there's the implication that there's also a moon that governs death as well, or maybe the void, right? Sort of cool stuff like that. We're gonna do at least one more hard cut, one more zhuzh, because I need to go into here again to get another cham. So, ready? Alright, so we missed it because I forgot that it was a thing that happens, but we actually meet Domingo on that island, who's another person who is looking for discoveries. And if we don't find discoveries fast enough, Domingo will find them first. So that's another incentive for us to go around finding discoveries. But we found our next cham. I don't know if it transforms anything. Oh, we got a moonberry somewhere too. We're going to give that to Fina. So Cupel, upgrade. And then super move for Fina. This gives us regeneration. This is Lunar Blessing. It's a really great skill. And then let's also see if Cupel got upgraded at all. Nope, still Cupel Blade, probably a little stronger, but that's that. So yeah, this is all about exploration today, which means I think the big goal is, I believe the next one is we head east to this big island here, and there's something for us to see. And then after that, we can turn and we can head to Nasr. I just always want to keep on checking my map because I'm a total space case when it comes to a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of battling and finding items and stuff, so I promise you the next episode will be chock full of excitement and action. But I like this sort of part of it, right? The busy work in Skies of Arcadia, and there certainly is busy work. It still feels like I'm accomplishing something sort of interesting, and also will next round show off Lunar Blessing. I'm either getting moonberries to get new skills, I'm finding new discoveries that make the world seem exciting and large, I'm finding chams, which, you know, I love Cupel, so I love finding chams. All the different ways of progressing or experiencing the world. well, they certainly take up amount, time, because that's, what happens in RPGs. Things just take time. It's time I get to spend in a world that I find interesting. It's time that I get to spend with characters I find compelling and sort of helping them out. And it builds it's very strange. It builds a bond between the player and the characters, I think, in a way that I don't know if you usually see. Sometimes busy work just feels like busy work. And here's Lunar Blessing. Hopefully that starts off at the beginning of the round. Yeah.
Moons, give us your blessing.
So we all get regeneration. It's really great against bosses. So you can see her special moves definitely send her into that support role category. But you saw before too, she's actually doing better damage-wise than Aika. I keep on stressing this point. It's like, I love all the characters, but I love how flexible Fina is in battle, and I don't know, I really adore her. It's super great. But yeah, so and look at that, 200 per round, which at this stage of the game is not minor at all. And I believe it scales too, so I'm not just like going through later battles getting 200 per round. I think it scales based on level a little bit. I don't know how the calculation works. I could be pulling that out of my butt. There's plenty of times when I talk about this game and I forget stuff. It's been a while since I've really sat and played through it in such a comprehensive manner. But that's part of the excitement. So where is this silly little thing? Somewhere here then, right? I forget what island it's on. It might be this one? I don't know. I feel so terrible. But now we'll just stick around and look for discoveries, and we'll head to Nasr and do all these things. There's just one. There's one right here, right near the edge of the stone reef, on this island. And the problem is that the game can be really picky about it. And yes, I will be doing battles right now just to upgrade Fina. That's really awesome when he shoots off the hook hand like that. So I think what I'll do, because this is such a sort of really casual, like this is as Let's Play gets right now. What I think we'll do is we'll actually try and get out another episode either late tonight or tomorrow. And it's easy to put out this sort of content because I'm just playing a game and sort of experiencing it with you, not in a perfunctory manner, mind you, but still in a way that makes a difference. So I don't remember. Can I go down that low? No, I can't yet. So it's on one of these islands here. So let me think. Did the island just disappear? Oh, some graphic stuff going on. So I just don't know exactly where I want to figure it out. I know it's here somewhere, and I know this is like a boring moment of like, let's pause and get to a battle or whatever, but it's like, I want to find all these discoveries because it helps me later on. I want to show you more of the world. I think the discoveries are a really cool way of doing that. Although here, do I have powerful magic? I have Pyrez. So yeah, I can just sort of, hopefully one-shot sort of nuke everybody.
Moons, give me strength.
So we'll get to show off this in action too, because we're upgrading our magic. So there we go. Bam! Even like first level magic in this game is still impressive, but second level magic gets even better. Like this game,
That was easy.
there's always something. There's always something to excite you. I don't know, I find it all rather compelling. And I got an item, which is always good. So yeah, now I'm gonna obsess over this bridge for a while. So it is definitely on this island. this big one right here. So I want to make sure I'm on that island. So it's here. It's near here. So we just get to hit our button around until we find it. Guide stones is what it is. I did the thing. I did the thing. It might be time for another whoosh 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 in a second. The stuff around Maramba, the area in Nasr we're going to, is much easier to find. So yeah, we'll probably whoosh 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 again. So we'll finish off this battle. I'll use Pyrus again. Because when we get to Nasr, we'll be able to rest at an inn. And this is just sort of a funny side mission chapter. And I'll try and not do these as much, but it's still like, let's explore the world. Let's remember this world. And, you know, if I did all of these things off camera, it would be sort of tricky. But let's do one more whoosh whoosh whoosh. So... whoosh. Okay, I totally, like, completely forgot where it was. So it's this right here. Guide stones. Yes. And it, sort of points you in the right way. To the north, this. To the south, that. Ancient guides. Oh my gosh, a battle. High encounter rate in this game. I thought I was going to be able to avoid some of that. We will be able to cut through the stone reef and head straight into Nasr now. And we'll talk about some stuff on our approach to Nasr. We'll get a couple of last-minute discoveries, and we'll go from there. Actually, does Aika have anything fun? She has Crystallis, which is something we can use. Yeah, so that's another second-level magic that we get to show off. It's more moon, ice power stuff, but it's still pretty cool. Yeah, that looks really devastating. Just a spike of ice. I mean, obviously, some of these things, when it comes to the magic, it's not particularly inspired, right? But it's still very interesting. I believe so, anyway. And look at this, right? Fina jumping right into battle. So cool. All the characters in this game are really great. I love them. I wish I had a more insightful bit of commentary to add right now, but we won't get that until the end of the game, where, not the end of the game, the end of this segment, where there's some stuff I want to talk when it comes to party composition, but that's more, it's easier for me to elucidate once we get to the proper space. So let's cut through these stone reefs because we have the harpoon cannon. So that's one thing too, we're able to move through more spaces in the world, which I love. The more we upgrade our ships, the more we begin to understand things, and there's always people in the world too, so it's like, you know, if you keep heading south, you'll run into the South Ocean. Well, obviously, but it's like, you know, some people can't deal with South Ocean because there's strong headwinds and all of this stuff. There's always danger, but there's always excitement to the world we're in, and it's like, oh, I found some more fish, which sounds like a really sort of simple thing that we shouldn't get so excited about, but it's like, oh my gosh, I get to go around the world, I found fish, I find all these things, everything's new in this game, it's fresh and exciting. And this scene is going to sort of talk about that sense of adventure, and let me get to talk about our characters a little bit. So, it's small things like this, but they really add up. So Vise and Aika have never seen a desert, right? So they keep on getting to see these crazy new things. Like, imagine going through the world and never having a concept of what a desert is, just sort of hearing it, never seeing a picture, and then finally getting to see it. And Aika has this great imagination about old stories where, you know, it's so hot your hair will light on fire and people run around with buckets in order to put out their friend's hair. You know, so Vise's thing is curiosity, and Aika's thing is sort of like, you know, she's like, oh, of course I don't believe in those stories, but there's a part of her that's like, she almost hopes that the world is as fantastic as those stories. You know, and it's all simple, you know, the idea is that each moon governs a sort of element. So here it's very hot. So, but I do like the honesty here that's going to come up, because there's a temple, and Aika's like, ooh, a temple? I bet you there's treasure, gold and gems and clothing and stuff. And then she says, we can go and buy whatever we want with all the money. And Fina needs to ask what it means to buy something, which is awesome. So we have characters that want to explore the world that don't know the world. Fina doesn't know the world for different reasons, but Vise and Aika want to explore it and sort of take it in. Aika doesn't Fina doesn't understand the social structures of this world at all. So the idea of commerce is completely foreign to her. The idea of like money for trade or goods or whatever, she just doesn't get. So the composition of our party is primarily based on people who are not just exploring the world, but they're learning about the world and also exploring a little bit about themselves in the process. So like, as Fina goes around the world, she'll learn different concepts that sort of change who she is. Vise and Aika go around the world, and they end up doing historic things and making actual history in the space, but they're also learning about themselves as individuals going around the space. Drachma's the only one who doesn't really get in on this, because he's our voice of experience. But even then, when our party composition changes, we have two party members that are sort of experienced. Drachma is one, and another character that will show up later on is another. That was a redundant statement. But the third one we get is somebody from a higher social strata than everybody else. And so their journey of discovery is understanding sort of the social implications of the world that they're in. Fina's is just understanding like the basic human-to-human politics. And then Vise and Aika, it's all about experiencing or understanding culture. So you have these characters that are coming to space and experiencing, I have trouble saying that word sometimes, experiencing it in very different ways and for very different reasons, although they're all in the same quest. This right here, Blatant Discovery, although you saw my thing go crazy here, there's a black pirate ship. We might even fight that to end the segment. That might be exciting. We'll fight the black pirate ship and we'll go back to Maramba and make port. Or maybe not, I don't know. We'll see. But we'll fight some of these enemies here. We'll build up for Lambda Burst, is what we'll do. Some of the discoveries you can see, so that's a wandering lake, which is this really cool idea for a discovery that I like, and so we'll discover that. There's an oasis in the middle of the desert that we can find, and a couple other things. There's a lot of discoveries around Maramba, which is nice because they centralize all the discoveries around this new land that we're in, too. So it's not just that, the area around Mid-Ocean and Pirate Isle doesn't seem to have as many discoveries, because for us as people who are theoretically on the same page as the actors that we are controlling, we understand that space already. It's a space that's been fairly well explored. But once we get into a foreign land like Nasr, it changes. It completely changes, and nothing is really, you can't take anything for granted anymore. So the increase in the amount of discoveries that we can find once we enter into a new space really stresses those spaces as being foreign to the party. Maybe not to Drachma. He has some experience traveling around the world, but definitely to Vise, Aika, and Fina. So that's a nice bit of where, again, sort of it's hard to call discovery a mechanic, but it is a way we engage with the space. And so when I say mechanics, I just mean modes of interaction. So a mode of interaction with the space is just us discovering things. So the increased amount of discovery is really compelling because it makes the world seem wonderful and exciting. And then, Wandering Lake, what's the deal with that? And then down here, somewhere in the center, and you can see there's a pirate getting near us. We don't want that. This is the temple. We don't go to it yet. There is an oasis that we can find. Oh, I want to find it. I want to find the oasis. I'm actually kind of scared of that pirate ship because I don't know how powerful the Little Jack is in comparison. But we can try it out. But we'll try and get through things, so we'll use Pyrus again and just sort of attack. Oh, Aika got put to sleep. That's not too bad, though. It's funny, Sky Magic governs speed, but it's also like, it's partially water and air at the same time. Oh, and Fina got put to sleep as well, but we'll get to use Pyrus, which is fine. And I think I might be looking in the wrong spot for some of the discovery I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Oasis. There's a discovery right near Maramba that I'm not too worried about. But I think we might fight that air pirate. I think we go find the Oasis, we fight the air pirate, we find the discovery near Maramba, we go to Maramba, we call it a day. Very strange episode, but I think there's moments in here that are enjoyable. I know some of you stick with me throughout. There's not a lot of you, but there definitely are some of you. I think the Oasis might be here, actually. Yes. Or the sand... No, those are the Sandfalls. Again, not what I was expecting. So wait then. Where's the Oasis? It's not in the middle of the desert, is it? I don't remember. This is the cool thing about Skies of Arcadia. There's so many things to keep track of in the game world that it really, like, I feel like I'm discovering things again. I might look at a map for this one. I think it might even be further south. Can we go lower? Yeah, it might be down here. Where the, not everything's working. There's the Oasis. I know it's around here somewhere. So we're finding all kinds of discoveries, getting to all kinds of battles. We'll fight that pirate ship. Hopefully we won't die. Because then I would lose all kinds of progress. So I think we have repair boxes, which will be okay, though. If I lose all this progress, I will cry. I will straight out just, like, cry. So we'll keep on using Pyrus. I know that's not very exciting to watch, but we sort of want to move through the end of... This is sort of like our climax, right? We got near Nasr. We're going to stop in the port town. And that's just how it is. Drill. I was going to say that's a yellow magic spell. It should be a debuff. Yep. And I forget how debuffs, and then, like, if I were to use Increm to buff Drachma, I don't know if it completely removes the debuff or they sort of, like, counterbalance each other. It's been a while since I've played around with the magic system in this game, because really the thing that's keeping you going more often than not when you get through things, it's actually your special attacks and not the magic system. Magic is great early on in the game, but it tends to get supplanted by the things that you can do with your special attacks. I could learn Quicka, which is really good. So let's fight that nasty pirate. And hopefully we won't lose. If they have torpedoes, I'm absolutely fucked. But we're gonna fight. They have a big looking ship though. And I don't know if you can run from air pirate battles. So here we go. Freaking ship battle. Ooh. Oh, I am already really intimidated. Holy shit. Okay. We can attack twice this turn. So we'll attack at the beginning and we'll defend throughout. And depending on how we act, we'll be able to attack. Oh, did we just miss our attack or did they? It's hard to tell who's attacking first. We missed our attack. Ooh. I might have made a huge miscalculation, everybody. I might have made a huge miscalculation. They're focusing for a big attack, too. So at least we can get a comparative notion of the damage that we can deal when we hit them. Okay, so we're hitting them for a lot per shot, so I'm not too worried. For a minute, I was like, oh my gosh. I would hate this, but we'll follow up. Evasive action for both of us, which means it's sort of a stalemate. Air battles in this game are so much fun. I mean, the system looks incredibly simple, but it starts to open up once we get sub-cannons and torpedoes where we can sort of really coordinate our attacks to, you know, be one big burst on a turn, and it's all about managing your focus and doing all kinds of stuff. It's really great. I don't know what's going to determine exactly how the next turn is handled. Okay, they're approaching. We're right in range of their cannons. Stand and fight seems foolish. But they give you these options in the middle too, so we'll increase our distance. And then, if we want to, we can build up. And I would love to, at some turn, be able to fire the harpoon cannon, but I don't know if we'll be able to. So we'll focus after firing. We'll fire again. And actually, let's use a bomb. It's not often that I would advocate the use of consumables, but it's like, why not? If the second cannon doesn't kill them, the bomb absolutely will. See, these are torpedoes. These are awesome. So you choose what turn the torpedoes can attack on, and they can be a real bane, because I don't know when the torpedo will attack, but it can attack on the same turn as a cannon fire. So I can be attacked by a torpedo hitting me and cannon fire hitting me at the same time, which can do a ton of damage. So they're probably going to try and coordinate it right now. See? Lots of damage. We should be able to take them out in this turn, though. But you can see that's not an insignificant amount of damage. And oh, our bomb didn't work. So that is perturbing to a certain extent. And look at that. Look at the way that they choreograph the action, though. They cross, and like if we wanted to, like we could time these crazy attacks where, you know, it's broadsides firing and all of that. And we can't use magic right now, though. Alright, so thought that turn out, we're going to heal. If for some reason we can't defeat them in this next turn, we will definitely be able to use the harpoon cannon to take them out, provided that they don't hit us really hard with any crazy combos again. It's, you know, airship battles are these really exciting affairs. They don't tend to come down like right to the wire, but they are still very exciting and very exhilarating to play through. My only thing is I don't want to use up too many of our repair kits, because I do know that there will be another mandatory ship battle in a little bit. And my definition of a little bit is, I don't know, 2 segments from now. But enough so that I want to sort of conserve my resources. But I love the sort of choreography that goes on in these fights. This might do it. Yep. It's really great. It's really a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see a ship, and also they give good experience, but it's really fun to see a ship in the space that you are in, and then to engage it. And let's see if that got us a captain's stripe. I don't think it did, but it's always worth checking. Captain's stripe at all? I forget where they are kept. No. And sadly, you know what? I am going to repair the little jack. So we'll deal with that and any of the consequences that come with that sort of when the time comes. We are eventually going to be going to that temple, but not at the moment. I need to figure out where Maramba is again. Maybe it's right on our map. I think it's down this way. We went through a rift. Yep, I can see the torches. But I know there's also a discovery like on the edge here somewhere. So I want to find that as well before we land. I'm just really sort of drawn into the gameplay right now. There's not as much to talk about the same way that we had during the last segment when it came to like class inequalities or things like that. It's really that we just have sort of spaces that we are exploring that are sort of exciting and magical. Or magical, not like literally, but although somewhat with some of the discoveries that we found, you know, crystals forming somewhere, waterfalls made of sand, but there's this sense that we're moving into spaces that are more and more foreign and exciting. And we'll talk about the notion of foreignhood and also the nations that we find. We talked about it to a certain extent when we were talking about Valua compared to Nasr in one of our segments, but I feel like I was being really conciliatory, and I want to make a better sort of explanation for what I think Skies of Arcadia is doing through the visual shorthand of its language for cultures.
So bad.
Because it would be very simple to say that Skies of Arcadia is using broad caricature for the sake of, like, just broad caricature, but I don't think that's fair to the game. But we'll talk about that in a bit. There is a discovery near here. Perhaps even on this island? Yes. There we go. Topple Rock. And so, there we go. These weird rock formations, and the winds have never toppled them. But we are going to land now in Maramba. And so in our next segment, we'll be able to talk about Nasr and a couple of other things that I find very interesting about Skies of Arcadia. But for now, we'll get through this sort of cutscene and go on. And so, obviously, Drachma, like you might expect, is leaving us behind, going off on his Ahab crusade to fight Rachnum the Archwhale. And I'm not spoiling anything by saying that Drachma is a character that we see again throughout the story, but we do have a final fourth player slot, or character slot, in our party that tends to rotate. But, you know, Drachma tries to say, you know, it's not my concern, or I have to go find Rachnum. And he means that. Certainly, he wants to go and fight Rachnum. He has personal reasons for doing so. But from what we've observed of him, he's also somebody, like, he was willing to go into the heart of Valua to help us. So there's something underneath her that's interesting. So, you know, now we're sort of stuck in the port town of Maramba. That really should just say Drachma has left the party again. But that was a fun segment. That was a lot of exploration and all kinds of things. So the next section will be all about sort of talking about Nasr as a culture, sort of talking about the things that we encounter, and how Skies of Arcadia handles culture and what it wants us to feel about culture, or at least what I think it wants us to feel about culture. So I will see you then. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Bye.